When your heart feels heavy and the world sits on your shoulders, there is a quiet whisper that often gets lost beneath the noise of your worries. It says, "You are not alone." Sometimes life brings you to a point where tears fall without permission, where you question your strength, and where every door seems to close at the exact moment you need one to open. But even in that hidden struggle, even in the moments no one else sees, there is a presence that never leaves you, a mercy that surrounds you, a light that holds your trembling heart gently in its glow. Because the one who created your soul is closer to you than your own breath. He knows the battles you fight silently. He knows the weight you carry without telling anyone. And he says to you in the most comforting way possible, "Do not be sad. I am with you." This is not just a reminder. It is a lifeline, a promise from the one who never abandons his servants. So breathe, slow down, and let your heart remember that the author of your destiny is watching over you, guiding you, holding you through every rise and fall. Today, let us step into that truth. Let us return to the one who has never left us. When life presses heavily upon our hearts, when sorrow seeps into the quiet corners of our souls, and when the weight of the world seems unbearable, it is natural to feel overwhelmed, to feel lost, to feel as though no one sees the storm raging within us. Yet in those very moments, there is a profound truth that can bring solace and calm to our troubled hearts. Allah is with us. He is not distant, he is not indifferent, and he does not abandon those who call upon him. This presence is not merely abstract. It is tangible in the way our hearts find moments of ease, in the way guidance appears when we seek it, and in the way our lives are subtly protected, even when we are unaware of it. It is easy to forget this truth when sadness envelops us, when grief and disappointment cloud our vision, when the noise of life drowns out the quiet whisper of hope. But Allah's presence is unwavering, and it surrounds us in ways that often go unnoticed. It is in the breath that fills our lungs, in the beating of our hearts, in the resilience we find when we think we have none. Every time we face difficulty, whether it is the loss of someone we love, a personal failure, a broken relationship, financial stress, or emotional turmoil, the instinctive reaction of the heart may be despair, yet in the same moment, the seed of divine comfort is sown. This seed grows quietly, often in ways that we do not immediately recognize, until one day we reflect and realize that we were never truly alone. The trials of life are not meant to crush us, though they may feel unbearable. They are meant to bring us closer to Allah, to awaken in us a reliance upon him, and to remind us that our lives are held in his care. When we acknowledge this presence, when we allow ourselves to feel it deeply, the sadness begins to transform. It does not disappear instantly, but it takes on a new character, one infused with hope and resilience. The heart no longer cries out in isolation because it knows that every tear is witnessed, every sigh is heard, and every moment of weakness is held tenderly by the one who is most merciful. Understanding that Allah is with us does not mean we will never feel sorrow or grief. Feeling sadness is a natural part of being human. It is a reflection of our attachment to what is meaningful, of our compassion, and of our vulnerability. What changes, however, is our response to that sadness. When we recognize Allah's nearness, our pain becomes a shared burden, carried in partnership with the one who understands us more intimately than we understand ourselves. This recognition transforms despair into patience, hopelessness into trust, and heaviness into a gentle surrender that lightens the heart. The Quran reminds us that Allah is closer to us than our jugular vein, emphasizing a proximity that surpasses any human understanding. This nearness is not conditional. It is not dependent on our strength, our perfection, or our spiritual achievements. It is unconditional, ever present, and immediate. Whether we are conscious of it or not, whether we feel connected or distant, Allah's presence never wavers. And when we begin to feel the reality of this presence, the soul is fortified in ways that are subtle yet profound. Even in the darkest nights of our hearts, when it seems that joy will never return, that hope is gone, and that peace is unreachable, this divine presence provides a quiet anchor. It whispers to the heart that life is not without purpose, that trials are temporary, and that guidance is always available to those who seek it sincerely. Experiencing this presence requires mindfulness and reflection. It requires us to turn our attention inward, to listen to the soul's whisper, and to seek Allah with sincerity and humility. It calls us to make dua, to remember Him through prayer, and to engage in acts of worship and gratitude, for these practices awaken a consciousness of His proximity. As we nurture this awareness, we begin to notice that even small blessings, once overlooked, are signs of His presence. The warmth of sunlight on our skin, the laughter of loved ones, the nourishment that sustains our bodies, and the quiet moments of stillness all become reminders that Allah is attentive to our lives. The heart that once felt heavy with sorrow begins to recognize a pattern of mercy woven into every moment, a subtle reassurance that we are not alone. Moreover, the presence of Allah is not merely comforting, it is empowering. When we realize that the Creator of the universe is near, our perspective on life's challenges changes. Difficulties become opportunities for growth. Tests become lessons in patience, and struggles become a means to develop trust in His wisdom. This understanding allows the heart to approach sadness with dignity, courage, and hope, for it knows that every difficulty carries within it the possibility of spiritual elevation and closeness to the divine. It is natural, of course, to be impatient with sadness. We want relief quickly, we want our burdens lifted immediately, and we want our pain erased. Yet the process of moving through sorrow is itself part of the spiritual journey. Each tear shed in the awareness of Allah's presence becomes a means of purification. Each moment of despair offers an opportunity for reliance, and each pang of sadness serves as a reminder that our hearts are alive, capable of feeling deeply, and capable of turning to Him in earnest. This awareness encourages us to approach life with resilience. The knowledge that Allah is with us does not make us immune to hardship, but it provides a foundation upon which we can rebuild our strength after every trial. The heart that trusts in His presence is not easily shattered, for it rests upon a reality far greater than the temporary struggles of this world. Furthermore, recognizing Allah's presence transforms our relationships with others. When we feel supported and comforted by Him, we are better able to offer compassion and understanding to those around us who are struggling. We become vessels of mercy, reflecting the divine care we ourselves receive. In this way, the presence of Allah in our lives not only heals our own hearts, but allows us to participate in the healing of others. The journey of acknowledging and feeling Allah's presence is ongoing. It requires patience, persistence, and reflection. There will be moments when we forget, when sadness clouds our awareness, and when despair threatens to take hold. Yet in every such moment, there is the possibility of turning back to Him, of seeking His guidance, and of reconnecting with the profound reassurance that we are never alone. Prayer, remembrance, and gratitude are all tools that facilitate this connection. The heart that practices them becomes attuned to the subtle ways in which Allah manifests His presence. Through these practices, we learn to notice the signs of His care, the timing of solutions, the protection from harm, the strength to endure, and the joy that appears unexpectedly in the midst of difficulty. Every small sign is a reminder that Allah is not only present but actively participating in the unfolding of our lives. Life often challenges us in ways we do not anticipate, in ways that test our patience, our faith, and our endurance. Trials come in forms that can feel overwhelming: the loss of a loved one, a dream deferred, betrayal by someone we trusted, or circumstances that seem unfair and unchangeable. In these moments, it is natural for the human heart to ask, "Why me?" and to feel abandoned, to wonder whether anyone, let alone Allah, cares about the depth of our struggle. Yet it is precisely in these moments that the wisdom of understanding trials in the light of divine presence becomes crucial. Our difficulties are not signs of abandonment, nor are they indications of Allah's displeasure or distance. On the contrary, they are opportunities, invitations to grow closer to Him, to develop resilience, and to awaken a reliance upon His infinite mercy and wisdom. When we begin to view our trials through this perspective, we discover that hardship is not meaningless, that suffering can carry profound purpose, and that moments of despair are often the very catalysts for spiritual awakening. Life's challenges are designed to bring us face to face with our own limitations and to remind us that ultimate control lies not in our hands, but in the hands of Allah. This recognition is liberating because it allows us to release the weight of trying to control every outcome, to surrender the anxiety that arises from uncertainty, and to rest in the knowledge that our Creator is fully aware of our circumstances and fully capable of guiding us through them. Every trial, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, contains lessons for the soul. They teach us patience when patience seems impossible, gratitude when our hearts ache, humility when pride tempts us to despair, and reliance on Allah when all else fails. The human experience is inherently imperfect, and suffering is an unavoidable part of it. Yet suffering becomes transformative when it is paired with awareness of Allah's presence. The soul that trusts in His plan begins to perceive trials not as punishment, but as guidance. Pain becomes a teacher rather than a tormentor. In this process, the heart learns to surrender, to submit, and to trust, recognizing that what is happening in the present moment is a part of a greater divine design that is ultimately beyond human comprehension. Understanding this perspective requires courage, for it is not easy to accept suffering without immediate relief. It is not simple to remain patient when tears fall and hope feels distant. Yet the practice of turning to Allah in such moments creates an intimacy with Him that cannot be attained through ease and comfort alone. The heart becomes a vessel of resilience, a repository of faith that is forged in the fires of challenge. As we navigate trials, it is also important to remember that our struggles are unique, and so is the manner in which Allah assists each of us. There is no uniform timetable, no identical process for everyone. Some trials are brief yet intense, others are prolonged yet subtle, and the lessons they carry differ according to the needs of the individual soul. What is constant, however, is the divine promise that no trial is without purpose and no difficulty occurs outside of Allah's knowledge and care. By embracing this truth, the human heart can begin to find meaning even in the most painful experiences. Each moment of sadness, each pang of fear, each wave of despair carries within it a potential for growth, for transformation, and for renewed trust. These moments teach us to seek Allah's guidance in every decision, to turn to Him in every sorrow, and to recognize His presence in every small act of mercy that we often overlook. Reliance on Allah is a practice cultivated through conscious effort. It requires reflection, prayer, and sincere submission. The heart must learn to release its attachment to the illusion of complete control and to embrace the knowledge that Allah's plan is perfect, even when our understanding is limited. Every prayer, every moment of remembrance, and every act of surrender reinforces this reliance and strengthens the soul against future challenges. Furthermore, trials allow us to develop empathy for others. When we experience suffering firsthand, we gain insight into the struggles of those around us. This awareness cultivates compassion, humility, and a readiness to support others in their moments of need. Our own challenges, when faced with patience and trust in Allah, become a bridge through which we connect with the pain and resilience of others. In this way, trials not only refine our individual character, but also enhance the collective fabric of human relationships and community. Another essential aspect of trials is understanding that relief may not come in the form we expect. Often, human expectations are limited by our desire for immediate comfort or tangible solutions. Yet Allah's wisdom operates beyond the constraints of time and human perception. What we perceive as hardship may, in truth, be protection from greater harm or preparation for blessings that we cannot yet see. This realization fosters patience and gratitude even amid difficulty, as the heart recognizes that each experience is part of a larger benevolent design. The process of embracing trials with reliance on Allah also requires the cultivation of self-awareness. We are called to examine our responses to hardship, to question whether we are resisting, resenting, or surrendering, and to adjust our hearts accordingly. This introspection deepens our understanding of ourselves and strengthens our relationship with Allah as we learn to navigate life with humility, courage, and trust. In addition, it is vital to maintain hope during trials. Hope is not a naive optimism that ignores reality. Rather, it is a steadfast confidence in Allah's mercy, His knowledge, and His ability to turn any situation toward good. This hope sustains the heart when circumstances seem bleak and inspires perseverance in the face of adversity. Through hope, the soul learns that no trial is permanent and no sadness is beyond the reach of Allah's healing touch. Gratitude also plays a transformative role in times of hardship. Even amidst difficulty, finding moments to acknowledge blessings, however small, shifts the heart's focus from despair to recognition of Allah's care. Gratitude becomes a lens through which trials are reframed as opportunities for spiritual growth, character development, and increased reliance on the divine. The more the heart practices gratitude, the more it experiences peace, even in the presence of pain. Furthermore, trials teach the soul to detach from excessive dependence on worldly outcomes. We are reminded that ultimate fulfillment and true peace are not found in external circumstances, but in the connection to Allah and the consciousness of His presence. This realization liberates the heart from the volatility of life and anchors it in a source of strength that cannot be shaken by loss, disappointment, or fear. As we reflect on these truths, it becomes evident that trials are not random or meaningless. They are deliberate experiences designed to shape our hearts, refine our characters, and draw us closer to Allah. When faced with hardship, the soul has the choice to despair or to trust, to resist or to surrender, to grieve in isolation or to seek solace in the nearness of the divine. Choosing the latter transforms trials into blessings in disguise, revealing the hidden mercy that lies within every difficulty. The journey of understanding and embracing trials is lifelong. Each hardship faced strengthens the heart for future challenges, cultivates resilience, and deepens spiritual awareness. It is through this ongoing process that the human soul learns to navigate the ebb and flow of life with patience, trust, and reliance on Allah. No moment of difficulty is wasted when it is met with conscious effort to remain close to the divine. In the quiet of prayer, in the stillness of reflection, and in the surrender of the heart, we discover that every trial carries within it the seeds of hope, healing, and spiritual elevation. This understanding does not eliminate the experience of suffering, but transforms its impact, allowing the heart to endure, to grow, and to flourish, even in the midst of challenges. True peace is a treasure that every heart seeks, yet it is often misunderstood. Many people search for it in circumstances, achievements, or the approval of others, hoping that external success or comfort will fill the emptiness inside. But true peace is not found in the shifting sands of the world. It is found in surrendering to Allah and trusting in His plan. The heart that relies solely on what is tangible will inevitably feel restless, for the world is impermanent and its blessings are transient. No matter how much wealth one acquires, how much recognition one earns, or how many relationships one maintains, the human soul yearns for a deeper connection, a stability that cannot be shaken by trials or loss. This stability is found in recognizing that Allah is the ultimate source of peace, the anchor of the heart, and the one whose wisdom governs every aspect of life. Trusting in Allah does not mean ignoring life's challenges or pretending that sorrow does not exist. It does not require passivity or resignation. On the contrary, Trust is an active engagement with the divine. It is consciously placing one's heart and affairs in His hands, knowing that every situation, no matter how confusing or painful, is under His care. The heart that learns to trust Allah in this way experiences a profound freedom. It is freed from the chains of worry, from the illusion that we can control everything, and from the constant fear of uncertainty. This freedom is not superficial. It is rooted in deep spiritual certainty, a knowledge that the one who created us knows our needs, sees our struggles, and is capable of guiding us toward what is best, even when we cannot see it ourselves. When we surrender our worries and place our trust in Allah, we begin to notice subtle shifts in the heart. Anxiety, which once dominated our thoughts, begins to recede. The restless longing for control gives way to a quiet confidence that Allah's wisdom is greater than our understanding. Our perspective on hardship changes. Difficulties are no longer viewed as burdens alone, but as opportunities to deepen reliance on Allah, to cultivate patience, and to awaken gratitude for the unseen mercy embedded in every circumstance. This trust is not built overnight. It is cultivated gradually through reflection, prayer, and consistent remembrance of Allah. The heart must learn to observe its own reactions, to recognize moments when fear or doubt arise, and to consciously return to the awareness that Allah is near. Every act of trust strengthens this connection. Every prayer nurtures it, and every moment of surrender reinforces the soul's sense of security. True peace also requires patience. Life is filled with trials, and the human heart will inevitably encounter moments of sadness, disappointment, and fear. Yet patience is not mere endurance. It is an active, conscious choice to rely on Allah, to maintain hope, and to remain steadfast even when immediate relief is not apparent. Patience allows the heart to navigate sorrow without losing its composure, to face difficulty without despair, and to hold on to hope when circumstances seem overwhelming. Moreover, peace emerges when we embrace gratitude. Gratitude is a lens through which we see the world differently, a filter that transforms ordinary experiences into signs of Allah's care. By acknowledging blessings, even amidst hardship, the heart becomes aware of divine presence in all aspects of life. A simple meal, a kind word, a moment of beauty, or the very breath in our lungs can remind us that Allah's mercy surrounds us constantly. Gratitude deepens trust because it cultivates awareness of how Allah has consistently provided and protected, reinforcing the belief that He will continue to do. Another essential element of peace is acceptance. Acceptance does not mean resignation or defeat. It means recognizing the reality of a situation without resistance or futile struggle. Acceptance allows the heart to stop fighting against what cannot be changed and to focus energy on what can be influenced through prayer, action, and reliance on Allah. By accepting the flow of life, the soul experiences less turmoil and more clarity as it learns to differentiate between what is within its control and what belongs solely to the divine will. Trust, patience, gratitude, and acceptance together form a foundation upon which